Hi, it's Sharon from Grace's neighbor Sharon. I hope you enjoy the video. Project number 1. Framed calendar page. Just using some burnt umber paint, foam brush, and this page from a charitable organization's calendar from last year. So welcome new viewers. Welcome back, my loyal subscribers. Thank you for clicking on my first video of the year. I'm going to be uploading second, third, and fourth Wednesdays in addition to all the playlists. So I hope you enjoy this first video that I did all by myself. What I'm doing here is I was trying to get the tape off of the calendar page because my boyfriend actually had this just taped on the wall, and I was like, I think I can do better. So I went ahead and ripped the canvas off that frame, and it was actually a nice frame underneath. Sometimes they're very blocky and they don't have the angle in them, but this one did. So once I got the canvas off of the frame, I'm actually Mod Podging the canvas. I ironed it and then Mod Podged it because I'm going to actually attach the calendar page to it. I want it to be a little bit more substantial and be able to, you know, survive a few bumps and bangs. So the burnt umber acrylic paint is like a godsend when you're wanting to stain something, but you just don't have any stain around, or you just can't deal with the smell of the stain. So I'm using a damp baby wipe. I usually have to spray them because mine always seem to dry out. And you can just keep going over it until it's as dark as you want. I want to be able to see the wood grain underneath, but I do want it to look, you know, more high-end, more professional, even though it's just a free calendar page. So I place it more or less center. I actually eyeballed it this time, and I just want to make sure I have an even amount of overhang to make it easy to staple it when we're done here. So I'm using my Hippo heat press. I think it warmed up in about 30 seconds. It flashes, and it has 3 different lights for low, medium, and high. And I really like it, and Tammy at the Rusted Willow gave me a really good discount on it. So just a few swipes with that little Hippo heat press, and the page is firmly affixed. And now what I'm going to do, since I only have one set of hands, is I'm just using my painter's tape to hold it on, and I'm trying to get it on there as tight as possible that you can with a little bit of painter's tape. And then this is like having about 3 or 4 pairs of hands. So I'll flip it over now, and I'm just going to use a regular office stapler. Don't need anything heavy duty. The wood in the frame is pretty soft, but you do have to give it a firm press or else it will kind of go sideways on you. All right, so I did that all the way around, several staples in on each side. And now I'm just cutting the excess canvas off. You can do it upside down like I'm doing here, and then in a minute you'll see me flip it over, and that's why I have the cutting mat underneath. Whichever you prefer. You could probably even use a pair of scissors, but after a bit here I decide that I like it this way, the front way. I just find it easier to run the knife against the edge of the frame. And look at that, like one fell swoop and it's out of there. So as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I'm finishing up, but I realize you can see a little bit of white on either side, and that's because the picture's a wee bit smaller than the frame. And I didn't know that at first, because when I held the picture up, it pretty much looked like it fit. But I thought for a second, well, rope is good for framing in a picture on a pizza pan. Why not on a frame? So this is some rope that I got from Dollarama when I was visiting my family in Canada. And it just seemed to fit the bill. It was just a little bit thicker than twine, and not quite as wide as the brown rope that I often use. And I'm just getting it on there with some hot glue. The calendar page is kind of like cardstock, but with a shiny surface. And the hot glue is more than sufficient for that purpose. All right, finishing up. Here I grabbed a sawtooth hanger because there's nothing to hang it with the canvas like that. And I just cut off the fuzzies because I don't do the fire thing. And to get a good look at this during the final reveal. Project number 2. Winter tissue holder. I got this wood tissue holder at one of the thrift stores, local thrift stores, and the Cardinal napkin I got off of eBay. I'm just going to get that price tag off there, and then we can begin. So there's long sides and short sides. The long sides, I'm doing a coat of Mod Podge each side. So there's 2 of those, and I'll just show you one. And then the shorter sides are getting a coat or 2 of white chalk paint. And I just want to thank you for watching my video that I did all by myself. This is first time this year that I've chosen my own theme and done my own projects. So thank you for checking them out. So I'm using my heat gun here to get the Mod Podge dry because I'm getting impatient. And there's the Hippo heat press flashing. The blue is low, the green is medium. I figured I needed a good hot iron to get that napkin down. The napkin only had 2 layers, so I pulled off the bottom layer just by mucking up the corner and pulling it apart. And I just discard that. I keep it off to the side because you can use it to clean up spills and things like that. Now I just take a second to place it the way I want to and put a piece of parchment paper over top. And then just go all over it. I'm making sure to get the edges too. The edges are rounded here, so it's pretty easy to make sure that they're done all over, basically. And now I'm just ripping it off. You don't even need to cut it. I'm going to tear all the sides, and then I'm going to come in with my sandpaper and just smooth them off. I love using a sandpaper when you decoupage because it makes it look like it was meant to be, like that napkin has always been there. It just makes it look so perfect. I just love how it comes out. Checking the leftover image there, making sure it's okay. There was actually 4 images on one napkin, so I only needed an extra 1 for the other side. And again, I'm just showing you one side because both the long sides are exactly the same. So I was so nervous here. I'm coming in with Mod Podge. I never Mod Podge my napkins, but this is going to be my boyfriend's office, and he's just really hard with his things. He's always dropping stuff and bumping into things. So I figured it needed a coat of something to protect it from the bumps and bangs, just like with the calendar image that we put on the wall. So I just kept painting on the Mod Podge and checking what I had already done to see if it was going to shrivel up or anything, but so far so good. I just took my time, kept it nice and thin, long strokes, or tried to do long strokes. It's hard when you get to the edges. Okay. And of course I came in with the heat gun again. It just was a weird texture to me, or it was just like I kept touching it and smoothing it because it was just strange to me, because it's not something that I'm used to doing. I did put the parchment paper on and give it a swipe, just to make sure it was down there good, and if it was thinking about wrinkling up, I was just going to change its mind. So instead of doing the buffalo check or the black and white, I decided to use like a wood treatment with two different kinds of brown. One I believe was called saddle brown, and then the other is burnt umber. I'm using a wet paper towel, heavy-handed to wipe it off, and then light-handed to leave more brown on. And I just kept doing that on the two sides and the top. I'm not going to bother with the inside. I actually want it to stay the same like that. I do come in with a paintbrush to get the little nooks and crannies and then wipe it off where it's really dark. And here's the final test, and it fits and it comes out and it looks great, and you get a good look at it during the final reveal. Project number 3. Winter Birdhouse. So we have this greenery that I got 75% off at Michael's. I've got the oatmeal and moss chalk paint, burnt umber and saddle brown acrylic paint, Birdhouse from Dollar Tree. That's a glass candlestick from Dollar Tree that's been already painted. And the snowflakes, I think, were from Amazon. And also, I forgot to show you, but the evergreen zip ties are from Dollar Tree as well. So doing the same thing here, rubbing the brown onto the wood, but that wood is super porous and just like sucked it right up. I'm doing the same with the snowflakes, but I'm painting the brown on and then wiping off and painting it and wiping it until I get it the way I like it. And I did that with the birdhouse as well. When I'm happy with those brown, the color brown that I got, I went ahead and sanded that glass candle holder. And now I'm going to come in and spread some of this crackle medium. I could have put a thicker coat on. I probably should have put a thicker coat on, but such is life. So that takes a little bit to dry. So I went ahead and painted the candlestick, and having that paint on there before and then sanding it made it take this second coat like wonderfully. Like it just painted on there like you were painting a picture. I was quite happy with how it went on there. And I don't know why I didn't put it off to the side, but here I am working on the snowflakes. I'm putting the, what am I doing here? I'm putting the wood glue and the hot glue on it. You'll notice I did leave a space on the birdhouse to glue it down. And then once I glued it down, I went back in with the crackle medium stuff. So let everything dry well, and now I'm coming in with the oatmeal paint, and oh my gosh, it's so nice. Like, what a difference it makes getting that oatmeal color on there. It's kind of like a celery. Like, I always wanted to call it celery paint, but I'm pretty sure it's called oatmeal. Not sure why this is so slow. I think I messed up the speed when I was editing. But what a difference it makes. So I do the whole birdhouse, same color, get all the nooks and crannies. And I'm kind of sloppy on the roof there because I know I'm going to put down the white on top of it anyway. So I just kind of get around the edges a little bit. And I don't even wait for it to dry. I come back in with a very small paintbrush and go ahead and cover up the snowflakes. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is crackling, but not as dramatically as I had hoped. But when you see the final reveal pictures, you'll see the crackle. So I'm showing you one snowflake, but I do exactly the same for both. And then when everything's dry, I come in with the greenery and the mosses. And I just kind of stuff some Spanish moss and random little bits of the reindeer moss in there, just so they're sticking out, so they look random. And then I took this Dollar Tree evergreen pipe cleaner thing and I wrapped it around the candle holder or candlestick. And then this is one of those I do it till your eyes are happy moments. So I did that with the greenery from Michael's, and then I put down some super glue and some hot glue. And I put both of those glues on the candle holder, and then went ahead and put the wood birdhouse on top. And I thought it was doing pretty good. It stuck, and I did some more gluing of the evergreen, of the greenery, and I was moving it around. And this happened. Yeah, right in my hands. It glued to the tag on the bottom of the birdhouse and not to the wood. So I cleaned off as much as I could and used a pair of pliers to get the glue residue off. And then went back in again, super glue, hot glue, and this time it's gluing straight to the wood on the bottom. And then I just took a stiff brush with some white chalk paint and made it look a little snowy. And I did that on the greenery as well as on the roof. I didn't want to go too overboard because I liked the paint treatment already. All right, that's pretty much it for this, and you'll get a better look at it in the final reveal. The final reveal. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.